All right, so this video is going to be a little bit different than the normal videos I make on business, about starting a business, about owning a business, business practices. And I want to say that I like the 7.3 liter Ford Godzilla truck engine. Yes, there's people out here saying that's a flop. There's Ford modular guys saying that that engine is a flop. And they don't know anything about pushrod, small block Ford, Y block Ford, FE engines, 385 series engines. And they want to down the new 7.3 liter Ford Godzilla engine. An engine, if I'm not mistaken, stock ran in the high sevens on boost. Okay, I'm a Ford guy. I was born in 1990. My first vehicle that I got when I was 16 was a Mustang. First engine I put in there was a little hot 302. Standard heads, cam, intake stuff. I'm talking about where you get a junkyard 5 liter, right? Where you shake the bearings. You're like, well, the bearings ain't too bad. You take the pistons out. Pistons ain't too bad. After you did a compression test, a leak down test, you take those stock E7 heads and you put the Chevrolet valves in there. Yeah. You do a little light porting and you put the Chevrolet 194, 160 valves in there. You put an aftermarket intake on there with the camshaft. I didn't do the alphabet cams. I was born in 1990. I thought about doing, the B cam that everybody do, or the F cam a lot of people do. But I just went on and did a aftermarket comp cam here. And I put a Holley 650 double pumper on it. Put a 9-inch rear in the back. Had my C4 transmission rebuilt. Put 370s in the rear. Had a 12-second car. You got people who just now getting into the hot rodding scene, as we say, with modular stuff, with the Coyote. And they're talking about Coyote's king. Yeah, I like the Coyote. I want one in the future, but to say that the 7.3 Godzilla is just a truck motor, come on now. That's crazy. Show me a Coyote, stock untouched Coyote with boost, that's running sevens. Aren't y'all the same people that say you got to change the oil pump gears after 600 horsepower? And you're telling me that this 445 cubic inch 7.3 liter Godzilla is a dud? Hey, either you don't know what you're talking about. Your bread and butter is modular Coyote stuff. You don't know what you're talking about. Or you're just trying to skew people. Because think about it. All of us people that's known hot rod, and we looked at that engine, we saw the specs, it was like Cleveland style heads. Yes, Cleveland style heads on a truck motor. Some people saying, oh, it's just a better version of the 400 M. Hey, if you want to say that, or the 351 M, hey, we were all speculating, but we know that that's a good engine. We've seen tests where the engine went up to 1,500 horsepower with a positive displacement supercharger. We've seen it run sevens in the quarter mile with some turbos on it. Heck, I was thinking about, it's like, I have a 408 Stroker Windsor, aftermarket Cleveland style heads. Now, I'm saying what I have, just not giving it all away. I have an aftermarket single plane high intake. Uh, I was gonna do just a NA engine, naturally aspirated, but I said I'm gonna go with boost. I got a turbo big as my sister's Bulldog, and I'm going aftermarket EFI. And you got people out here saying that the Godzilla engine is trash. You know, you got people out here. Oh, I'll give you another thing. Pro Charger. I get so tired of like going to car meets or sitting online. Everybody say, Pro Charge it, Pro Charge it. Okay, what about the people that was running back in the 90s, early 2000s in those renegade classes, running 850s with a Vortec YSI in a 347, sometimes a stock block. A stock block 302, sometimes half filled, sometimes full filled with concrete. Slap a good heads cam intake on there, put a Vortec YSI on there, and you running 8s, 850s. Why do I say that? Because people act like that was something new when people was going to the junkyard, getting the 5.3 LS engine, slapping some turbos on there and running 8s and 850s, but constantly tearing up the engine. Hey, I mean, more power to you. You know, a lot of people say, well, why hasn't the Godzilla taken off yet? Well, think about it. A lot of us are weekend warriors. A lot of us have jobs. And even though, you know, I'm pushing my business book that I copyrighted in 2018, I grew up in a family business, thrive, survive, struggle. Check out my website at www.paracletepub.com. A lot of us, we were gawking over the Ford F4TE block. It was a stock roller block that came out in, you know, 94 to 96, 351 Windsor, F4TE. I have one of those blocks. I took the time to take one out of a van in the junkyard. I think I spent like $150 for that engine, that complete engine, before I got the new one. And think about it. A lot of us are saying, well, we're going to wait. We're going to wait and see if these Godzilla engines fill up the junkyard. Because who's going to turn down 445 cubic inches that's in a stock block form, stock displacement, that can fit between your frame rails? It sits a little high, but you don't have to worry about the big physical size of a modular or a big block Ford. Come on now. Stop listening to people so blindly. You know, stuff sounds good to people that don't know. Hey, and I don't know everything. Stuff sounds good to me that might not be true, but look at some of the older stuff. Look at the stuff people have been doing. Small block Ford pushrod engines haven't went anywhere. Ford just stopped putting them in the Mustang. But there's plenty of people that know. You want to make good power? That's an option right there. So thanks for watching. Check out my website. Order my business book at www.paracletepub.com. Like I said,